Hello, and welcome to the Week 9 devlog for QuiVr, my HTC Vive archery game. This week I have a couple aesthetic improvements, a couple of bug fixes, but most importantly, we have multiplayer available for you to play right now in the alpha. Hopefully you can wait to download and try out the latest version of the game until I finish the video, but if not, I totally understand. One of the first things you can see in this scene is we now have a bit more of aesthetic changes that make it a little bit nicer. The enemies come from portals and round the back of those things. It's just a nicer little area that will hopefully make playing the single player a little bit more fun, but nothing mechanically has changed about that. A number of bug fixes have been added to make sure that this hand offset is working correctly for left-handed people as well. So it should be a more robust system. The only thing that is not working yet is the holding the bow sideways for some people can still be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to be working on adjusting that so that it works better. Because I know that some people have had some problems when you're holding the bow Legolas style in getting the arrows to fire. This has been a massive rework of a lot of the systems that I'm using to get it all working with multiplayer, so that single player and multiplayer are kind of one and the same. Even though I'm not connected right now, I'm using the same body, and all the bow and the quiver are all the same in the single player and multiplayer, so I don't have to keep two things updated separately. So the menu is going to be the same, and so I've removed this high quality setting that used to be here. It's replaced with an unused button right now. Just because it's in a transition state, because I've had to redo this menu system. So the siege, everything works the same as it currently does. The menu, there's just this nice new button that says multiplayer testing. Other than that, I think the only addition to the standard game, other than some of these bug fixes and this new area, is that I've added a loading screen, which helps a lot because the loading time was starting to get a bit long in booting up the game. Now there's an interactive loading screen for a little floating island where you can play with the rocks and stuff as it loads up the game for the initial scene. So before I show the actual multiplayer gameplay, let me just go into the multiplayer area and show what's going on. So I hit this, and it takes us into the loading this area. So the way this works is you have information at the top about your current state in the network. So it kind of went through a number of sequences, connecting to the server, joining the lobby, trying to find a game. It failed to find a game, so we created a new game for ourselves that people can join. The limit per room right now is 4 players, so that you can have 4 people on the wall playing the game. The aesthetic is totally up. I just wanted to try something new, so it has a little bit darker aesthetic. There's some fog in the background. Enemies come just kind of straight line toward the runestone. It's very basic in a map perspective. It's the networking code that's the important part. And so if you are creating a game, it says up there, use the menu to start the siege. If you hit the menu here, we can see that some of these buttons have changed, and we can leave the room, which will bring us back to the single player scene and disconnect us from the server. The other thing we can do here is start the game. Now, if you are in a room and you're not the owner of the room, so the first person who came in and created it, hitting the start game button will pop up a message saying that only the host can start the game. But if you are the owner, the host of the room, we can hit this button here and we'll actually start a game. The game is identical to what we have in the single player scene, so we shouldn't have There shouldn't be any difference for that and the actual game. So, I'm sure you guys don't want to see me play through this game just like this. You want to see what the actual game brings to the table, so let's check out the real multiplayer gameplay. So first I want to thank some of the people at the VRTK Toolkit Slack channel for helping me out. The Stone Fox, Vive and Ivan, and Behemoth all helped me in testing some of the multiplayer features to get it ready for everybody to play with. As you can see, we have a group of 4 people here playing the multiplayer system. Like I said, the general aesthetic and the enemies and everything that has to do with the map is definitely not final, but the network code that's going into this is what I hope to use in the actual version. You can see that the arrows are being fired correctly from where they get released in the bow. The enemies' healths are being synced over the entire network. Their state of walking and eventually attacking is also synced. The physics objects that you pick up and grab are synced throughout the network. Like last week, hand and bow and arrow positions are all being synced. You should be able to grab arrows that other people give you. Any physics object in the game can be picked up by anybody and played with. Currently, the way that the difficulty scaling works is the enemy number and health pool increases based on the number of players in the room. So as people join and leave, additional enemies that spawn will be scaled accordingly. If an enemy is already spawned when a player joins or leaves, they won't change that dynamically. But any new enemies that spawn will be generated according to the number of players that are in the game. Your spot on the wall is determined by how you come in. So starting from left to right, it'll take the first open spot. So if people leave and rejoin, they're likely to get their same spot as long as somebody doesn't come in to take their space. As you can hopefully hear, all the sounds are synced to the shooting of the bow, as well as any impacts and everything like that. Those are all done on the client side. The wave system should be completely synchronized so that if the current host leaves the game will continue as intended. I haven't really been able to test that out, so if anybody, feedback for a lot of this is really necessary, and I hope that you don't expect that this whole system is going to be working flawlessly from the start. It's extremely difficult to test multiplayer features with only a single HTC Vive. So I've been very fortunate to have some people from the Slack channel for the virtual reality toolkit that the Stone Fox created initially. They helped me out and made all of this testing much easier. But the more people who test it, the better. So this will definitely be improving in the future. I think at this point you guys get a sense of my taking feedback and improving the game based on it. So it shouldn't be too hard to imagine that I'll be taking a close look at everybody's feedback for the multiplayer system and trying to improve it as best as I can. With this addition, over the next few weeks, I think that this is a good spot to start working on the actual game and shift the from this alpha into an early access version of the game. A lot of the details for that are still undecided, but that will probably mean that the demo version will change into probably a single-player only experience after that has started, because it costs a fairly significant amount to keep multiplayer servers up and running. So that will be a part of the early access paid system when that begins. But until I get a week or two worth of feedback on the current multiplayer and I'm able to improve it significantly, this will stay as an alpha. There have been a lot of comments about the lack of graphical fidelity that this game has currently, and that's really everything up to this point is a placeholder. I may use the same enemies, but they're currently very boring. They don't have any abilities and will in the future. The scenery is definitely placeholder. Even if some of the assets are reused, there's going to be a lot of thought put into the final map design and layout so that this game is an engaging experience instead of just standing in one place and fighting the waves of monsters that come running forward at you. So I'm looking forward to everybody getting to play the multiplayer and give feedback on it. It's available right now from the latest version of the alpha, and I hope to get a bunch of feedback either in the discussions part of Steam for the game or on the dedicated subreddit. All the patch notes with any details that I have forgotten are available on the store page as well, and I am looking forward to everybody's feedback. Thanks!